Honestly, I can't believe they gave us the keys to this place.
Shore's bones is dusty in here. Ah! What are those?
Oh my god. It smells like rot meth. What the heck was Kash brewing?
Let's see if these sconces still have some life in them. Do you remember that flame spell from the Mages Guild? Ah, that's better.
I wonder if this old bar has some life left in it.
I wonder if this barrel of meat has some life left in it.
I'm thinking no. And it's a good thing that you brought the health potions with you.
There we go. Home sweet home.
Wait, are we sure everybody got our letter?
Guess we'll have to wait and see. What is up? My goodness, this has been a absolutely long awaited moment.
Oh
a long time.
Oh my god!
How hard has it been for you to keep this a secret?
Really hard considering I'm seeing a Loreseeker tomorrow who was like, I'm not going to be your friend anymore. If I find out it was you.
Oh man, that is too
yes,
good.
yes, Booch, the deception is over.
The deception is done. Yes.
Come on, like you guys didn't know.
Oh, I know, right? So, for those of you guys who don't know, I'm Toasted Peanut, and this is my wonderful friend, colleague, co-host. That's you. You got. I'm not going to introduce you. I'm not going to introduce you for you.
I thought you were going to be like, gone crazy back soon, and then I was going to say, hi. Well, hi. Yeah, that's me.
So how many people honestly knew right off the bat that it was us? Yes, Catty Bacon Lady, absolutely.
Yes. Conniff, I did. Catty, me.
Immediately.
Conniff
I immediately knew.
Immediately. Rose, I know your
some
voice.
weird audio issues. There it is. There's my background audio. That seems to be working now.
Oh man.
Rose, hello. Moki, hello. Conniff, Catty. I saw a Booch in there too. Booch was being all like, "The deception's done." So, oh my goodness.
So good.
Yeah, so good. We have been working on this for, oh my goodness, probably a couple months now.
Yeah.
Trying to get all this together. And it has been crazy. A little bit of a roller coaster, wouldn't you say?
I'm crazy.
You're crazy. I'm nutty.
That's true.
There we go. Perfect. I'm nutty. Crazy and nutty. So
yeah.
John
Gwen, I'm
Green.
done.
I'm done. We're finished.
We love you, everyone that we lied to. Sort of. We didn't really lie. We just didn't disclose the full truth.
That was basically what it was. Is there was just no like actual truth going out on the bat. So crazy about nuts.
Oh no,
there you go.
Rose. This is a family-friendly show.
It's family friendly.
I'm just kidding.
It's very friendly.
I mean, it is family friendly, but
it's okay.
I'm just kidding about
What are you thinking?
What am I thinking?
Yes, you.
I'm shaking. Okay, that's good.
A little bit of a little bit. Yeah.
I already do a podcast and I'm terribly nervous right now for some reason, but it's because my other one doesn't have video. So this is
that'll do it.
This is new territory for me. So
it's different.
It's very different. But what am I thinking? I'm thinking that I am so excited to be back in the tavern. So excited to be with all these Loreseekers. So excited to be able to do this again and kind of, carry on all the stuff that they started, because what brought all of us together, Yeah,
I don't think I could have said it better myself, honestly. So, hey, Batman, Napa Willie, welcome. Welcome. So, well, you kind of just started a little bit there with with you in your podcast. So why don't you kind of break into it and kind of tell us a little bit about who you are? We'll kind of go through that, and then I'll introduce myself a little bit further past that point. So
Yeah, I'm Gone Crazy Back Soon. Like we said earlier, I am one of the current co-GMs of the Loreseekers with Mr. Peanut over there. And I've been in Loreseekers pretty much since the Discord started. I mean, I found Loreseekers right after I had my son. I was big time into ESO before I had my son and when I was pregnant, and I had a group of friends that I played with, and then they all kind of went their separate ways and different life things happened. And when that happened, I kind of was left alone. And it was around the time that Morrowind dropped. And Morrowind was great to play solo, but I missed having friends online. And I was starting to make a really long commute because my son was staying with my parents during when I would be at work, when I returned to work. So I was kind of like, well, I wonder if there's any Elder Scrolls podcasts. Like, that would be cool. I don't really know a lot about it. I wonder if I can find anything. And I kept searching and searching and I never saw anything. And then finally, one day, lo and behold, Jibbs and Kash popped up with the trailer for the show. And I was like immediately hooked just by listening to the 2 minutes that they had done. And I like saved it immediately. And I was ready for the first episode and
add to the list.
add to the list, right? I had been in Discord for one guild that I was in on PlayStation, and I didn't know how to use it at all, because console.
Mhm.
And then, at the urging, I think, of the community and the people that were listening, it was like, okay, you need a Discord, okay, you need a guild, and it was over and over again. And I think we wore them down enough that we finally got them to do one. And as soon as the Discord went live, I was literally listening to the episode when they published it, and it was like, yeah, and you can join our Discord now. And I was like, pause. Mm-hmm. Yep, apply. Yep, okay. Guess I'll just wait and see. And like a few hours later, bam, there it was. And what a weird, surreal experience too, being one of the first people in the Discord. Like seeing everybody just coming in, and where we are now, multi-platform, multi-time
Multi
zone,
places and
everything is
yeah.
incredible. So it's a pretty cool thing. Yeah, Matt just said I joined 7/1 of 18 and you joined 2/3 of 2020.
Every
So
third of 2020. I thought I've been in the Discord a little longer than that, but apparently that those 2 years are kind of off in the distance.
yeah,
So you don't really think about those 2 years anymore.
the Discord
So
doesn't lie, I guess. But
yeah, no, exactly right. So
yeah, so that's a little bit kind of about my background with Loreseekers. I was in the guild for a while. I was super active in the Discord, but honestly not very active on console, which is where my main
mhm.
was and is, um, for quite some time. And then my son got a little older, and I was able to kind of join back up and do things again. And I met Never Separate and Gwen and Sasquatch and the people over there, and we got really really tight. Started another podcast over there called the Snug Podcast from the PlayStation side of things. And yeah, I co-GM over there too with Never, and it's awesome. So that's not really my history with the games, but that's my history kind of with Loreseekers itself. So what about you, Peanut?
That's me. Yeah, though that's pretty good. I mean, I haven't been around, as we found out, as long as that as you have been. So I want to ask though. So were you a part of the Mog Nation Discord before Lore Seekers, or did you just go right into Lore Seekers Guild?
I was not. I went straight into Loreseekers.
Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah, I found them like with the Elder Scrolls stuff specifically. I did go back and look at some
Hmm.
of the Mog Nation stuff, but I was not in the Mog Nation group.
Hmm.
So,
Okay. Because it's funny because I have like a little background with Mog Nation in the way of, so I started listening to the actual podcasts, much like yourself. I had just left a guild that I had been a part of that I really didn't really know much about ESO at the time, and I had a falling out with that guild, but that's another story for another time. So in between that, I took a break from ESO, and then I found the Loreseekers podcast, probably the same way. I was like, you know what? I wonder if there is anything about ESO. I keep hearing about this game that I own. I've owned it since beta, and only played it a little bit. So I was following along, and when they talked about Mog Nation, the first thing I did was, much like yourself with Loreseekers, I went and I logged onto my ESO account and I joined Mog Nation, and it was the craziest thing. And I was like, oh, cool, I'm officially part of it. So here's the kicker. I was about a year behind in the podcast.
What?
So, yeah. So I was working my way episode for episode to episode until they made it to the top.
Oh my gosh. It's like some Tales of Tamriel stuff right there, man.
Yeah, like it was crazy. So of course I joined Mog Nation, and in ESO, I don't think they had a Discord, or they did. I don't really know how that worked, but anyways, and then all of a sudden I get to the episode where they talk about where Kash was like, yeah, we've got a Discord now, and I'm like, what? And like, yeah, we have a Loreseekers guild now. I'm like, wait, what? So I joined Loreseekers and was part of Mog Nation for the longest time. And we're hanging out in Cyrodiil one time, and Kash was with us, and Jibbs, I think, was there as well. And I'm like, okay, so which tabard am I supposed to be wearing? Am I supposed to be wearing the Meridia Order of Guards tabard? And Kash, like, stopped. He's just like, dude, I haven't been in that guild in, like, forever. I didn't even know there was people in that guild still. So I'm running around Cyrodiil from, like, my first time with Loreseekers doing stuff, and I'm running around in a Mog Nation tabard in Cyrodiil. No idea what I'm doing. There's not a single clue. I'm like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. We'll just live with it. So that, I still to this day, I laugh at that, because I'm like, I followed along with the podcast up until that point, and as I discovered things in the podcast, I joined the guild in Discord, or the Discord guild. Yeah, you know what? I was a noob. Yeah, noob. Total noob right there. But I've been with...
Incredible.
Right? Yeah. So, like I said, I've been playing ESO since beta, and then I've had some off and ons. Other Elder Scrolls games, my very first Elder Scrolls game, and a lot of people in chat are going to be very upset for me saying this, but my very first Elder Scrolls game was the Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Yep. I'd never played an Elder Scrolls game prior to that. It was my very first game, and I fell in love with it, loved it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. A little bit of honesty time here is, I've only beaten Skyrim once. So that happened. And then ESO as well. So I've done ESO. I've done that a bunch. I beat ESO twice.
Okay.
So if you want to call beating the main story of ESO as beating ESO, because let's be realistic, this game is just so much more.
If we've beat the main story, I've done that a couple times then too. But my first one was Oblivion. So I played Oblivion back in college.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just kidding. I played Oblivion back in college, and I had my roommate at the time. He had the PlayStation attached to the TV in the living room, and he was like, "Hey,
it's like PlayStation 1, right?"
Two.
I was just making a
three?
crack at the fact that you were in college and.
Shh.
It's an old person joke, but anyways, moving
on. PS3, thank you. I thought it was 3. Yes, it was, because it was my Fat Boy PS3. It was like the big monster one.
Oh,
that's
nice.
Like, yeah, that took the SD cards and all of that stuff. Yeah, so he had Oblivion, and he had rented it. Again, I'm about to date myself. He had rented it from Blockbuster.
What's Blockbuster?
It is an old movie rental store that now no longer exists. So he had rented it, and he was like, oh, I have this for 5 days or whatever, and I just wanted to see what it's like, because I've heard it's pretty good. So he starts playing it, and then I was like, hey, man, can I make a character? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. And then that whole weekend, we sat on the couch, and neither of us moved because we were playing Oblivion. And then, like, 2 days after we turned it back in, my husband and I we're in the store. I think we're in like GameStop or something. And they had the Game of the Year edition, like the fancy box one. And I was like,
all the extras.
Yeah, I was like, I'll take that. And the rest was history. So yeah, I I started playing Oblivion. I of course played through Skyrim. Womp womp, I had some of the Skyrim bugs that plagued console. I never got to do Homestead, even though I downloaded it, because it would never allow me to actually place a homestead.
Oh
So
gosh,
it just
that's
kind of was
broken.
like, I guess I'm done now. I guess that's the end of the game for me. Uh, so yeah. But that's a little bit about that. And then, of course, I came to Elder Scrolls Online from work friends, actually, because they knew that I had played the other games. And they were like, hey, did you see that this is coming out? And we all sat in our break room one day and watched the trailer. And it was like, what? You can play Elder Scrolls with your friends? You're kidding.
What?
What?
This is a
No.
thing?
That's not that can't be really? That can't be a thing. So, yeah, the rest was kind of history from there. We all bought it that weekend. It had been out for a little bit on console because we were like, let's let the dust settle. But I did play when there were still vet ranks, so I've kind of been through the whole gambit
If you played
of
with vet ranks,
of
you 100% know.
of ESO history, and yeah, that's kind of how I ended up here with you all. So
That's awesome.
yeah, dude, for sure.
All
Oh
right.
man,
Toastet? Rose,
Toasted.
what? Toastet? Peanut with cashmere pigtails? Okay, first off, we're gonna have to come up with some really extreme situation in which I'm gonna have to put makeup on myself. But we'll wait a little while. We'll wait a little while on that one. So, but I think Katie offered to shave her head, so that was a thing. She told me it wasn't when we were streaming, but she did tell me that she was gonna shave her head. So
Uh,
that's a thing.
yeah, that's actually funny that you did say a fundraiser for the children's because we're both on the Elder Heroes Extra Life team, and I actually do
Yeah, we
think
are.
one of my incentives is going
Is
to
to
be
shave her head.
no, I'm not going to shave
Oh.
my head, but I am going to cut some hair off and hopefully donate it for a wig. So, see.
I like
But
that.
but
I don't have
anyway,
hair that long, but
I digress. We're getting off topic.
is it really a topic?
Elder Scrolls Online, Lore
I
Seekers.
guess we are here to talk about that, aren't we?
Thea, locks for lore.
Locks for lore. We like. Oh goodness. Okay,
Okay.
we're saving that, and we're gonna put that in the. Yeah, we're putting that in the brain, and we're gonna dive into that one a little bit further. I think we should. Locks for lore. There is Matt and Thea both. We'll tag team it. I like it. Is this topic of which you speak literally the mess? Okay. So
So like we're not
let's
Jibbs
give.
and Kash.
Yeah, not Jibbs and Kash. We're Peanut and Bacon.
Mhm.
Gone crazy back soon. Sorry, not Bacon. It's gone crazy back soon.
You can call me
But
Bacon.
I'm gonna call you Bacon. I'm always gonna call you Bacon. This is what I'm gonna do. So, um, let's talk a little bit about what our I don't want to say like what our expectation is, but kind of what to expect with the new Twitch cast. So I don't know. Do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to talk about it? We want to
I mean, we can both talk about it.
both talk about it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we should probably talk about how the heck we ended up here.
That's probably not a bad idea. How
Yeah,
did
I
we? How
think.
did we? Yeah,
How did
yeah.
this happen? It's your fault,
It is my
technically.
fault. Well, I mean, is it my fault or is it kind of just like a group effort,
Hmm.
a team effort? So,
A little bit.
long story short, um, for myself, I probably a couple months ago. Actually, no, you know what? It was at the beginning of the year. It's the beginning of the year. Oh God, what happened? I don't even remember. I honestly don't even remember how it started. But I approached Jibbs and Kash in Discord, and I said, "Hey, you know what? I'm thinking about, um, reviving the Loreseekers podcast, and I want to do it with a co-host in a similar style to what you and Jibbs did. And what do you think about that?" And instantly, the response I got was, "That is so awesome, absolutely." And then it's Peanut's fault. Yeah, okay, it's always my fault. Nothing really happened for a while there. it was kind of like a lull. I was kind of doing some stuff in the background, trying to figure things out, trying to decide who I wanted to cast with. And just even with talking with Gone Crazy and whatnot, kind of came to the conclusion that I think she might be a fun person. Kate, Gone Crazy and I, we like to just like back and forth with each other. It's quite great actually. It's just endless back and forths all the time, and it's so entertaining.
I think that started in Cyrodiil.
Probably.
But I think that is where that started.
Yeah. So I don't know. When did I approach you and say, "Hey, you want to do something crazy"? When was that?
Oh gosh, you approached me twice because there was one
Okay, I
time
was
that
persistent.
there was one time that you messaged me and you said like, "Hey, I'm thinking of doing this." And I was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
cool. Have fun." You were like, "No, no. Like uh well, I might be looking for a co-host or something." And I said, "Oh, well," I said, haha, I have Snug Podcasts, so if you ever need like a guest host, I would love to come and join you." And so it was originally like a poke, like a joke. And then you took me seriously.
Yep.
And you were like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Cool. Would you like to do it all the time?" And I was like,
How would you like to be
I,
always there?
I don't have a camera. I don't have stream set up. Like, I don't have anything for what you want to do. And it was like, "Oh,
uh,
okay. Well, just think about it and let me know." Okay. And then, like, I don't know, maybe 2.5 weeks later, it was like, "So, about the streaming stuff, like, I think I'd still like to do it. And have you thought about it?" It's like, "Okay, well, how often do you want to do it?" And then we had that conversation, which we'll talk about in a
Mhm.
minute with everybody. And then it was like, "Okay, well, Gwen, that's not actually why I got a better headset. I did get a better headset for our podcast because it was Amazon Prime Day and it was on sale. So this was just a great byproduct that this worked out well for both." Um,
Prime Day
but
gets everybody.
I did get my second screen because of this. So I have a big gaming screen now, and I have obviously a camera because you can see me um, now as well. But yeah, so you approached me the second time, and it was like, "Okay, he's actually serious. Is he actually doing this?" And then I trusted you, but I was very nervous because I'm gonna be honest. I'm quite um I don't want to say protective of the lore seeker's name, but a little protective. And so I actually messaged Jibbs and Kash. And I was like, "Hey, can I ask you a question?" They were like, "Yeah, what's up?" I said, "Has anyone talked to you about doing like a lore seekers live?" They were like, what do you mean?" And I said, "Has Peanut messaged you?" I just like went right for it.
Just
Has
straight
has
for it.
just straight for it. Has Toasted Peanut messaged you about anything? "Oh yeah, we've talked to him a little bit." I was like, "Okay, I'm just making sure because like I I I don't want anything bad to happen. And I really care about this guild and it's really good and it's continued on even though you guys lurk a lot and all of those things. It has great leadership and I don't want anything to change." And I kind of went through the whole gambit with them. And it was like, "Yeah, no, no, it's okay. Like you're blessed. Like it's okay." And then it was the moment of realness of like, "Let us
This is
know if you
fine.
need any help." And I was like, "Oh no, this is real.
This is actually
This
happening.
is actually going to happen. This is fine. Okay, well now I have to get a camera and a screen and I don't know what's going on." And then those things came in the mail and it was like, ah, and here we are.
And
So
here we
yeah,
are.
you were persistent. You were persistent. That's what I'll say.
Just a little bit.
And we have done a lot of work. So yeah. Oh, really quick, Alex the Dunmer wants to know who we are. Really quick again, because he
My
came
name's
in
Bob.
late, or they came in late, I should say. Alex the Dunmer, I'm Gone Crazy Back Soon. I'm one of the co-GMs of the Lore Seekers with Toasted Peanut over here. Do you want to introduce anything about yourself, Toasted Peanut?
Yeah, like we said earlier on there. Yeah, Toasted Peanut, and I co-GM the Loreseekers Guild with Gone Crazy Back Soon. And I guess we could officially say this: we're the new hosts of the Loreseekers Twitchcast. What? That's a thing? That happened again?
Hey.
So yeah, thank you for stopping in, Alex. I appreciate it. And
And thank you everybody for being here, because the
seriously,
amount of people in chat and the amount of people that have followed this newer, different channel and all that stuff and been on the Twitter and whatnot, it is much appreciated. It
hey,
enc-
Gwen
encouraged
finally
us
followed.
encouraged us when it was scary.
uh, so yeah, no, honestly, like there were a few times there. Obviously we've been hanging out in the Discord because we're kind of there in the Discord, and whatnot. And there's a few times there where we kind of were like, this is okay. These are some big. How did you put it?
Big Crocs to fill.
Big crocs to fill. Yeah. If you want to. Okay. Anyways, moving on. And we were a little. I can't speak. I cannot. Yeah. Okay. Gwen unfollowed. That's it. Talked about Crocs. That's it. We're done. I can't speak for Gone Crazy, but I know for me, I was a little bit like, okay, this is kind of go one of two ways here. A lot of people are, a little unsure and uncertain, and I totally understood that. I was like, yeah, no, fair enough. It's bound to be a thing. But you guys showed up, and that actually means a whole lot, especially with that first 15 minutes there of just sitting there waiting. Katie and I are in the back just talking, and we're like, okay, this is it. We're like every 3 minutes. Okay, we got this amount of time left. This amount of time left. We're like, okay, there's no backing out now. You can't back out. So once we pushed that going live button, there was no backing up. That was it. It was like, okay, we're doing this. And you guys showed up, and seriously, you guys have been really welcoming, which is awesome. So yeah, thank you so much for everybody who's been here. And no, that's not the end of the show. We have a lot more for you guys, so don't think we're wrapping this up.
We're not wrapping this up. I worked a lot on Audacity yesterday and might have cried a little bit.
We're learning.
We're learning so many things.
Oh
So
man.
kind of what to expect from the two of us right now. Because we are both very, very busy with real life. I have another podcast that I do weekly as well, and Peanut has a lot of things that he does real life as well. He does the streaming and all sorts of things too. So for now, the plan is that this will be at least a monthly situation.
Yeah.
And most of that is because we want to make sure that we're upholding the quality that Jibbs and Kash, really, really set forth with the previous stuff. It gives us time to research things and to fix things and whatnot. And we threw around the idea of maybe releasing it in audio format at some point, maybe, but
Yes.
we don't. His eyes got big. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I don't know. But
it's a cool concept. Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's exactly it. Like there is month to month, and there is the possibility. We're open to the possibility of possibly putting this back on the web in podcast form, like Bacon was saying. And
But that part's not set. We're just
that's not set. And
that's
we don't
not
want to. Yeah, we don't want to drive up everyone. Thank you. Oh man, if you're listening and not paying attention to the chat, Thea just said there, she's like, if you're just meeting Katie and Peanut for the first time, Katie is a treasure of a human being, which is such a truthful statement. And Peanut will never steer you wrong, unless you're running with me in Cyrodiil. So it's a good thing that I'm no longer the Cyrodiil lead, because you don't trust Peanut and Cyrodiil.
can confirm.
Tell you to go north, and I'll ride southwest. So
and
it's
good thing my wood elf has the fall damage thing, because I have followed you off a cliff many times.
Thank you, Pooch. Appreciate it. Yeah. So month to month, I think we've kind of already established that month to month is kind of what we're hoping for. Please don't like quote us, for maybe like a month and a half or something like that. Like we're still figuring this out. This is new for me, and a large portion of this is also new for you too, Katie. So like
Yeah.
we're figuring this out, and we're working to kind of make things quality and fun as well. Like that's the big thing is we
Yeah.
want a fun environment to be in. So
We are
um
family.
I think that covers our expectation.
Yeah.
I think
That's
we
the
got that covered.
who are we in the extended
Yes,
format.
exactly. So, as you guys saw at the intro video, which we worked tirelessly to put together, um, the tavern. Tavern.
Shout out to Caddy because that was our tavern actually from PlayStation. So
Mm-hmm.
got to
Yes,
do
thank you, Caddy.
a little bit of fun video capturing and stuff over there, and then brought that over, and we decided to use it for the intro, which was really, really cool.
So I had never seen the tavern over on PlayStation. So when Katie showed me for the first time, I was like, holy crap, what is this place and why do I not know anything about this? So for those of you guys that don't know, I play on PCNA. I do not do PlayStation. I don't have one. I keep bugging my fiance that I might buy one, and she keeps looking at me as if I did that it would be a very bad situation. So I haven't done it yet.
Do it now.
Right? But I was blown away. So really, really well done, Caddy, with that. It is awesome. You guys on PlayStation are lucky to have a wicked awesome tavern. So there might be some things happening over on PCNA, but I'm not going to talk much about that. You don't even know what I'm talking about. That's the best part.
I don't. You're so
Nix.
sneaky.
That's funny.
Nix, no.
No, it's not going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, what platform do you play on?
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I didn't know if you were talking to the chat. I don't know. I play on PSNA and PCNA. So for the person that asked that in the chat, and Loreseekers has guilds across all platforms and pretty
all
much
mega servers.
all mega servers for the most part. So some are more active than others, but we'll do the little plug at the end for the guilds so that if you're looking for a home, we'd love to have you.
Definitely. So, okay, so you know the next part to this because you put it in the craziest code. So you know what? This next part is the sneaky, not so sneaky stuff.
Well, that's what you were talking about earlier, like kind of how this whole thing came to be.
Oh, I thought you had something. Oh, yeah. Okay, so why reopen the tavern?
Yeah.
So, for those of you guys that don't know, I have a list of notes that Katie did up, and I'm learning to read off the notes. So it's kind of just this is how it works.
I said,
I'm learning.
"You want show notes?" And he's like, "Huh?" I was like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I was just gonna dive into this head first and just see what happened, and then Katie was like, "You don't do that. We have established the cache." Oh man, that's
amazing.
Good. Oh, I love it.
Amazing.
Why don't you talk a little bit? Let's talk a little bit about some of the skills that we learned here in the last couple months. You have opened up a bunch of doors.
One of them 24 hours ago, if I'm being honest. So when you pick up something like this from people and you want to do it right, you're like, yeah, that's not going to be that hard to do, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh boy. So you did a lot of video stuff. I mean, I gave you video clips from PlayStation, which was pretty awesome that we were able to do that. And then you mostly built a lot of the video and did all of this beautiful stuff that people are seeing here on screen right now. Did a great job. The background that's up here is actually from High Isle, from the main quest line, actually. So that's where that came from. But
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
I thought this was I thought this was in the tavern.
Nope. That right there is from the main quest line of High Isle. So surprise.
Oh, there you go.
Like But yeah, so you name it, we've probably both tried it in the last month or so. I downloaded Audacity like a week ago and thought we would just use it as backups for recording. And then I started talking to Kash about the lore lesson, which we'll do later. And it was like, wait, should I record this? And then it was like, yeah, you probably should, because it'd be less stress on you and you won't have to, freak out about reading it and all that stuff. And I was like, that's a great idea. So at 1 a.m., 48 hours ago, I said, yeah, sure, let's do it. And then I tried to edit it in Audacity all day yesterday at work, which was like,
Oh
I was
man.
like on YouTube, like how to fix static in Audacity. So I learned a lot. It's a learning curve. It will only get better,
Of
but
course.
just be patient with us.
That's probably the most important thing is just have the patience. And I don't think anybody in this community is going to have any lack of patience for this in any way, shape,
No,
or form. I
no,
think
of
a good
course
amount of
not.
people are probably pretty excited that they have something to kind of tune into um, periodically once a month or so. So
Hopefully so. Hopefully
I hope you
so.
guys like the really awesome follower notification there. I did that about 3 hours ago. So I am also learning Audacity. I know a little bit about audio stuff. I've been having fun with it quite a bit, actually. Google has also been my friend. I've learned that you can smack your head against the table when you Google search things because sometimes you have something in your mind and you cannot for the life of you find it. And you're like, hey, what do? You just gotta wing it, find it, dig, whatever you can do. A bunch of stuff I ended up just making myself because I'm like, I'm just gonna go wander around Cyrodiil or wander around Tamriel and see if I can find something that fits what I need. I have definitely learned a lot about audio and like picking apart different things and learning how to do. You run dungeons with me. Patience is not an issue. There you go. I get distracted by all the different things. So, um, writing is something I'm kind of thinking maybe I might dabble a bit more into. I got a lot of things in the back of my head here. So apparently, um, there have been a few tears shed at a couple points. I know I teared up when I first finally made. I found the song for the intro video. I teared up a little bit because a
Yeah.
plan began to formulate of how we were going to introduce the stream. Um, and I had my fiance basically beside me when that was happening, and she was crying, and then I was tearing up, and then I shared it with you, and you were just like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" And it just kind of like progressed from there. And there's definitely a few days where I almost trashed the whole thing. I was just like, "Nope, go back to scratch." But I didn't do it, so I've definitely learned to be a little bit more patient with the things that come up here. So yeah, that's
For
kind of
sure.
it.
That's
Video,
it.
audio, that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
Lots of things. Yeah. Definitely had some misty points, which fun fact, Peanut has never heard my lore lesson that we're gonna do later.
not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. So I'm kind of excited that your camera's on. I
Oh
can't
my goodness.
I can't wait. I
I'm
can't
excited.
wait.
Yeah. She's like, she was telling me, she's like, you gotta listen to it, tell me what you think. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna listen to it. She's like, okay, you gotta listen to it. So I just literally dropped in the middle of a lesson, 5 seconds, so that I could just check the audio. And that's all I've heard is 5 seconds and then like 3 seconds of the intro, so I could test to make sure things were doing that. So that is that's the thing. Yeah. So I am looking forward to it. I refuse to do it. So or refuse, pardon me, to listen to it until we were live. So it's gonna be more enjoyable that way.
But before we do that, we should talk about the news in Tamriel,
We
I think.
should. So,
Yeah.
I have no cute child that's gonna yell "Heary, Heary." Tamriel has some news for those of you guys that remember in the past, but we will be working on some cool little sound clips as we go. Forgive me, this is my very first time of actually doing news things, so let's make sure first off that I actually grab the right screen. Let's wake this thing up. That one doesn't have anything, right? Yeah, cool. Is this the
Caddy,
one
I
that I
can hiss,
need?
hear ye.
There we go. Caddy, you can do the recording with us for that. We'll get you in there.
Oh, I see
There we go.
a black screen and a peanut.
Why is there a black screen and a peanut? Why is that not working the way that it should? Okay, here we go. Figure things out.
You know, it couldn't be a stream without a little dumpster
Capture.
fire.
No. Chrome, news, categories, Google Chrome. That's what I want, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are you 50,000 way too big? Why are you like that? No. Oh, goodness. Okay, so apparently I forgot to check this one little thing. This one thing, I didn't check it. I checked everything else like 60 times. We're sitting here before the stream, checking everything. I didn't check this. Why didn't I check it? And yes, I'm looking up really high like this because I have a monitor above my head. That cringe. Oh, my goodness. He kicked me out of the tavern. Oh, I did kick you out of the tavern, didn't I? Oh. Okay, so here's what we're going to do.
That's right, Booch. I am a Nightblade.
Do this. We're going to go back to the lore room. We're going to do... What is... Oh, that's you. Okay, that's
Here
fine.
I am.
Hey, it's you. Sorry, guys.
You know how
Bear
long
with
I've
me
been
for a
looking for
second.
you?
Do you know how long I've been looking for you?
See, that's what I was saying. Yay!
It's been said, finally! Okay, let's do this. We're gonna call that news. Hey guys, this is some live action.
Remember how we
stream
said
editing.
we're learning so much? This is that moment.
The crazy part. So, I guess while I'm figuring this out here, I can mention. So I myself am not overly new to streaming. I have been streaming for quite a few years. So this OBS stuff is pretty familiar to me. But I've never done live casting like this. So this is going to be kind of cool. Hey, Wither Bucket. Welcome. Okay, well, apparently this is not wanting to work. Why are you not wanting to work? Let's refresh the page. Let's just see if it decides it wants to show up.
If it doesn't work, we can just talk about it from inside.
We can just talk about it,
Handy dandy
absolutely. It
tavern.
might actually just be what it is and how it's going to work. Yeah, you know what? We're going to do this without a page because for some reason when I went live today, it decided that it didn't want to work. So fine, be that way. OBS likes to troll that way. We'll discard it. What am I discarding? Uh-oh.
Oh,
We're
no.
good. All right. We're going to remove that channel. Okay, perfect. Okie dokie. Oh, no, I just clicked on a link. There we go. So let's talk about, well, we're going to start with what happened today. So today, Monday, Mondays are typically the release dates for patches and all sorts of fun things that Zos likes to put on us. So today they did an update to the playtest server and introduced the Firesong DLC, which is now on the playtest server for PC and Mac. So the Firesong DLC is the final chapter in the Aaron, we miss you too. The final chapter in the Legacy of the Bretons year-long adventure. So if you are interested in kind of dabbling in that, seeing some of the changes that came with that, head on over to the PC playtest server and fill that out. And see if there's actually any information on what exactly is being added in there. She didn't check that. There's information on how to actually join the playtest server as well on the link. So you just go to the elderscrollsonline.com and go to the news section and you'll find that information there. The actual DLC will arrive on November 1st. We have a date on PC, Mac, and Stadia, and November 15th for Xbox and PlayStation consoles. So that'll be our next delve into the next chapter, which is going to be super awesome.
Mm-hmm. You know what there is? A new patron deck.
Yes, there is. I saw that somewhere, and then I
It's
was
the
trying to find that.
it's the Druid King patron deck.
Do they have some information on exactly what that? It's probably in the preview. Yeah. Okay. So I should go to the preview page, and that'll
I
tell me everything that I need to know about it.
I can tell you. It says this all new patron rewards you for achieving hefty combos with their deck.
Oh.
So the order in which you play the cards is helpful.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool.
Heavy petting achievement. Yes. So, what?
Oh, yes, that is coming in update 36. So there is, you know how you can like pet the cute little animals in the current chapter? Like you can pet Wormseeker the cat that's in High Isle, and you can go pet that it's a dog, right? In Blackwood.
There's a dog in Blackwood you could pet. I knew about the cat. I
Yeah.
didn't know about the dog.
Yeah, you can pet a dog in Blackwood. So in this update now there is a bunch of animals that you can pet. You can hug a horse. And when you do all of that,
What?
yeah. Oh, dance with the dog. That's what it is. You can dance with the
Dancing
dog.
with the dog. Okay.
Yeah. And then in this one, you'll be able to like hug a horse and stuff. And once you do, then you'll get an achievement for it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I'm just kind of perusing through the Fire Song preview. So I'll go through kind of the first little part of the preview. So explore the home of the Druids in Fire Song. You can explore Galen, one of the 4 islands of the Sisters Archipelago, abundant and fertile. The isolated isle northwest of High Isle has long served the Druid circles of the Sisters. Galen features overgrown forests, inhospitable jungles, snaking lava rivers. That sounds hot. Woodland spirits and creatures unique to this part of Tamriel. It's not only the Druids who call this land home. However, as House Renard and their southern port city of Vestir provides a lone bastion of civilization, at least as far as the Bretons of High Isle see it, among the untamed wilds. That sounds exciting. I like greenery locations.
Yeah.
New world bosses, delves, volcanic vents, standalone quests, and a whole island to explore and wander around. And then so there was the new patron deck that came out there, which I'm looking quite a bit forward to. Is my mic like just falling off on me? Apologies. Or am I booping into my mic? That's also a possibility. Need more mics. I need like 6 mics all the way around me. There you go. Parabolic mics all the way around me. When Fire Song features a standalone story, this DLC will complete the main quest lines for both the DLC and the High Isle chapter. You'll unlock bonus quests that bring the legacy of the Bretons' year-long saga to its conclusion. Throughout your journeys in Galen, you will piece together the events of 2022's DLC and chapter content to finally uncover and confront the Ascendant Lord himself. That sounds really exciting. You can't read my shirt? So that is the Update 36 preview. And like I said, that'll be available on the PTS now that you can go and play it and explore it with your tunes. And if you don't want to jump into the playtest server, which is totally fine, you can absolutely wait until November 1st for PC and the 15th of November for console.
Yeah, us console plebs can't play the PTS.
You said it, not me.
I know, I was just poking at you just for fun. Because I play on both, so I'm allowed.
That's fair. And for those of you guys that know me, one of my favorite things I like to take a look at is the Crown Store Showcase. So let's take a look at the Crown Store Showcase. These are currently offered as limited time offers. So there is the event quest, the event that has 1 day left, under 1 day, is the Undaunted event. So by doing Undaunted events, you can gain tickets and boxes for motifs. Motifs?
Motifs.
Motifs? Is it motifs? We had this discussion in chat the other day, and now I got confused. So, motif chapters, motifs, from the dungeons you do, as well as chance at some collectible ones, which I will go through momentarily. There's a house that's got just under 10 days left. My eyesight's starting to go blurry. 10 days left. Pariah's Pinnacle. There's a furnishing pack. Malakath's Chosen. That actually looks not bad. Very stoned and like big heavy rugs and whatnot. Looks really cool. If you love facial hair, there's the Old Salt's Chin Trinket. So very high Eilish. It's got little beads and stuff in the beard and whatnot. Very piratey. There's the Pirate Skeleton Arms Pack, which there are 7 days left on that. Pirate costumes, swashbuckler personality. That one actually looks really cool. It's got a bunch of different emotes and idols.
Hey.
And there is a discount happening right now in the Crown store.
Did you know that today's Talk Like a Pirate Day?
I did not know that.
Yar. Yar be reading the Crown Store.
Y'all be reading the Crown Store. Waking Flame, Flames of Ambition, Scalebreaker, and Ascending Tide are all 1,000 crowns right now, regular 1,500 crowns. So if you're looking to pick up some of the DLC, then head on over and pick them up in the Crown Store. Community. Where did I find the thing with the thing? Now it wants my age. Where did I find the thing about today's news? Undaunted Celebration? Where is that?
What?
I had it a minute ago. Recapping the tavern. We'll go through that in a minute.
Yeah.
There it is. Undaunted Celebration. There's a lot of stuff on here right now. All right, so today is the last day, like I was saying, for the Undaunted Celebration. It ends Tuesday, September 20th at 10 a.m. EDT. So you have 2 more chances for tickets. So make sure if you haven't done that, go and do that. The list of all the dungeons that you can do. There is a random motif-style page from the following dungeons. Mazatoon, Silken Ring, Bloodforge, Scalecaller, Fanglair, Huntsman, Silver Dawn, Moongrave Fane, Stags of Zen, Ice Reach, Pirewatch, Thorn Legion, Hazardous Alchemy, True Sworn, Walking Flame, Crimson Oath, Silver Rose, Ascendant Order, and Dread Sail. It's 1,000 gold that you can get in one of the boxes. An Undaunted Key, a Crown Repair Kit, and Riding Lesson. Oh, you can get a Riding Lesson. Cool. So that is from... Sorry, I said that was from the dungeon. That's just the reward box. In addition to the above, and a glorious one. Those are the gold ones you get for finishing the final boss on the dungeon. Opal Monster weapon styles for Veladreth, Alambris, Troll King, Engine Guardian, Bloodspawn, and Chokethorn. So again, if you haven't done your dungeon today, go ahead and go and do that as soon as we're done here. I know I need to get my tickets still. So
I've been bad about this event. I just have not had time because, we've been working on something.
It's so true. It's a lot of my time has not been spent in ESO. It's been spent getting all this up and running, which has been super fun. Every once in a while, I pop in and play a couple rounds of Tales of Tribute, and then I just yell at the people when they beat me. If you're collecting the parts for the tickets this year, throughout this event, you can earn 2 event tickets the first time you defeat and loot a final boss, a final dungeon boss each day. And obviously the maximum is 12 if you didn't already know that. You can spend your hard-earned tickets at the Impresario, where you can acquire the following goodies. All 3 Soulfire Dragon Illusion Pet Fragments. So that's the Hallowed Hourglass Basin, the Illuminated Dragon Scroll, the Kavachian Incense, And then the first two Daggerfall Paladin costume fragments is the Blessed Rubidite Enamel and the Captured Dragonflame. And bound style pages for the following Opal weapons and Opal masks and shoulders for Veladreth. You can buy those with tickets from the Impresario. If you want to just not wait for the drops and you want to get it completed, you can go and do that. You can also buy Impresario group prepare kits and Companion Guild commendations. Alongside that, this year, they brought back Indrix. Seems like every event, they've kind of cycled the Indrik berries and the feathers up, which has been quite cool. So if you're like me and you missed a bunch of the Indrik stuff, now is your opportunity to go and get some Indrik things. And they're like dirt cheap. I think they're like 2 or 5 tickets. Like they're not overly expensive. So that's... Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it depends on what you're buying. Like the base versus the, the specific ones, I think the amounts are different. But I also have only been to the Indrik vendor once, so don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I've only done it a couple of times there, but yeah, I think you're right. It depends on what you're buying. So, so the Impresario's colleague, and I'm gonna butcher this name, Nenulore, the Indrik vendor.
Nenulore.
Nenulore. Did I get it right?
Yeah, close enough.
Am I close?
Yeah.
Nancy.
Nancy the
Indrik vendor.
Nanny the Indrik vendor.
Oh, I love it. So Booch is actually just correcting us there. It looks like it's 10 tickets per berry. So thank you for that, Booch. I appreciate that. So there's the nascent Indrik feathers, the onyx Indrik berries, the moss heart Indrik berries, the ebon glow Indrik pet, and the sapling Indrik pet are what's available right now. So head on over there and spend your tickets and get that stuff. And the last thing that I want to talk about is that wonderful thing that we had the last 2 years. We're basically chalking it up to a dragon break. I had to think about that word. I had to think about that for a moment.
Buddy, did you sleep before this? Are you okay?
I've been up since like 6 a.m.
I'm in the future and you're in the past, so
I don't. Yeah,
I have too. But
here we go. Recapping the ESO Tavern community event. So this is the first time in, what is it, like 2 years that they've done an ESO Tavern?
Yeah, they haven't had
super awesome.
They haven't had a tavern in quite some time. So this was really awesome to see some of the highlight videos and some of the things that they did for it. They did like a full High Isle themed cake. They had all sorts of developer discussions. Excuse me. They had essentially just a tavern atmosphere. And it was awesome. They even had, there was a metal band, Salatio
No way.
Mortis. Yeah, Salatio Mortis, which did, they did an ESO like inspired song pretty recently. And they showed up and just like randomly stood up on tables with bagpipes and stuff and started playing and singing. I'm not even kidding.
That is so cool.
Yeah, Arcaneer was talking about it because he was there. Yeah, that's right. Caddy, one of the singers from Lacuna Coil sang with them. So they basically had this huge tavern-like atmosphere. And Arcaneer from Tales of Tamriel was over there. He actually got to play a real like tribute deck, like a one you can actually touch.
That's right. I saw that stream.
Yeah, him and Demon Cat Daphne, I think, is who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched that. It was awesome to be able to see like Tales of Tribute being played in real life, because like I would love that myself too. So.
Yeah, it was awesome. So if you go to the Elder Scrolls Online website, they have like pictures of all of this. They've got pictures of the cake, which is just like the actual anniversary cake that's in game, like the one with the ship on the top. It's amazing. There's videos, there's lots of pictures of all the different dev meetups and stuff. And then there's some really awesome cosplay photos in here as well.
That cake looks delicious. I just scrolled down a little bit and found it there.
What flavor do you think it was?
Salty ocean breeze mixed with Landlocked lemon.
Wow.
I don't know. Oh,
I would.
and mahogany wood.
Yeah, because that's what the base is. I was gonna say orange marmalade, but okay.
Orange marmalade works.
I think it might have
That
marmalade
works.
marmalade
It
inside.
might be marmalade, and there's like looks like there's oranges and what are the red bags?
Maybe those are pomegranates?
Pomegranates and cyrodiilic citrus.
Oh, I bet you're right.
That's probably what it was.
That would be cool. Breton
Breton
blueberry.
blueberry.
Could be. But yeah,
So
just really awesome.
I was just gonna say, so the taverns, for those that aren't aware, you mentioned a little bit about exactly what they are. Is they're like big get-togethers. They get people from all over the globe. So I'm just kind of reading right here off of what they've described it as. After a prolonged absence, the ESO Tavern in Germany reopened its doors, inviting fans from across the globe to congregate, share stories, and of course enjoy a fine drink or two, or more. During the tavern, shared a delicious themed cake, held roundtable developer discussions, and enjoyed an incredible performance from the metal band. What was the name of that band? Saltatio Mortis?
Saltatio Mortis, yeah.
Okay. Needless to say, it was a packed event, and we were thrilled to see the ESO fam turn out, which is awesome. I look forward to one happening here in North America, but if they do it again in Germany, I absolutely will fly over there. 100%.
I am crossing my fingers for PAX East so hard because now that they've done one again, the one that they normally do at PAX East is insane.
That's crazy.
I have heard from people that people go just for that. They're like, forget PAX. I didn't get tickets into there. I'm just going to go to the ESO Tavern that's there. So it's pretty awesome usually.
I love it.
Fingers crossed.
So yeah, there's a bunch of look at the cosplays. There's so many cool cosplays in here. The 4 heroes are basically all cosplayed there, it looks like. So Wall of Light. There's just so many photos. If you had an opportunity and you're looking for something to go check out, absolutely go over to the website. The link's up there in the chat, and do wander through that. There's just so many awesome things, videos and everything. And like I said, Arcaneer was there. They did Tales of Tribute, and yes, if just saying, Zos, if you're listening, if you're here lurking in the background, we would like a Tales of Tribute game for my hands to play with friends so that I can teach non-ESO people Tales of Tribute and be like, yeah, you can play this digitally on this awesome game called Elder Scrolls, and everybody's happy.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, so if /lurk is here, put that in your back pocket, hang on to it, but actually don't hang on to it. Get that off to your creators at Bethesda store and make that a thing, please. Please make that a thing.
For sure.
Did I miss anything? There's so many announcements.
No, that's it.
There's like a long list of things in here. I think I covered it all. So,
yeah.
I was like really sweating having to do the announcements because I've never had to do giant announcement list things. And for those of you guys that know me, I'm usually pretty bad at reading web pages, reading a lot of things. I'm really bad at doing that. So
it's okay. You're learning.
We're learning. All right, I can minimize this here and go back to my notes if I can get my mouse off my top screen. Okay, there we go.
Godspeed and good luck.
Yeah, basically. So one of the new things that I talked with Miss Crazy Bacon about was I'd like to bring the Loreseekers Guild into the Twitchcast, and part of doing that was I'd like to call out some of our new Loreseekers for the month. And I do it for the month because it's going to be potentially month intervals between our different casts. So I have compiled a list of all the new Loreseekers that have arrived in the Discord for the very first time or returned. And I have the list here, and we're going to go through them all. Matt's like, or Minwi Pro, pardon me, is just like, oh my gosh. You did that?
I'm just gonna sit here and golf clap like gently. I mean, not so my mic can hear it, but as people come in, as you talk, I'll just...
Perfect. Yeah. So, um, I yeah, I'm just gonna go through the list and then we'll talk about why we're doing that after the fact too. So where's my list? Is it? I gotta scroll down the notes. There it is. All right. So these are our. Wagor, no, you're not new, but thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
But somehow,
Hey, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Love it. Okay. Donkey. Oh my god. We got a bunch of nicknames for Lindsay, apparently. Donkey, Lindsay, Agor, Lindsay, all sorts of different things. Anyways. So our new lore seekers for the month of September, as of to this date, is we have. Are you ready to clap?
I'm waiting.
Okay. You're like prepped. Okay.
my
Who
dress
put
rehearsal.
Peanut on a family-friendly stream? Okay, so our new lore seekers for September, Varger. If I pronounce your name wrong, my apologies. Crimson Snow, Wicked Pickles. I like that one.
Yeah, it's a PS number. Wicked Pickles.
Wicked
on
Pickles. There we go.
trials
Yeah. So
team.
I didn't actually go off of where they were coming from. So you recognize a few of these people that have showed up. No, Quirk's cat is Pickles. Spect, Wetham, Gothric, Morley, High Priestess Una, Dr. Spankenstein, Kethrilia, Norse Deity, Adam, Graphs, Tapgood, Snowball, RMS, 139, It's Dr. Madman, Zach Buzzard, Anamarchy, Gyn Grohi?
Guy Growick.
Groick? Oh, I guess I dropped the K by accident. My apologies. Roadless Traveler, Peace Seeker, Titus Turismo, Baytree, The Defiant, Dehurst, Naminko, Matter, Ice Gardener, Morgana, Patrifex. Did I get that right? Yeah. Patrifex. Yeah, those was there. So, if any of you guys happen to be in the Discord, and if I called your name and you're in the chat and you heard your name called, I'm going to pose a challenge. Say hi. All those people that joined, those are the people that all joined in the last month, which is super exciting to see that there's a lot of people coming through. Hey, there's Madman right there. Love it. Thank you for shouting yourself out. If you guys happen to see these people hanging out in the Discord, talking, say hello, give them a good old Lore Seekers welcome. Make them feel welcomed and as part of the community. Like, that's what it's all about here is, meeting new people and getting to know the people that you game with. So a lot of those people have come from many different events. So I know that Bacon, you've had quite a few people coming in from your guys' PlayStation events that you guys have been running this last month, right? Like
Trials.
Yeah. And that came up out of nowhere, didn't it? Just out of the blue?
Yeah, kind of. It was with someone that I've known for a while, but they, we were talking about trials and stuff, and they kind of approached me about wanting to do some stuff, and I said, "Hey, go for it. That'd be great." And ever since then, it's been awesome. They've been filling trials groups at least once a week and picking up pugs.
That's so
and
awesome.
adding new people, and it's going great. They're looking at starting maybe some vet Craglorn stuff soon, so
wow,
pretty awesome. Yeah.
And if you guys have never done a trial before, like, trials are probably the most coordinated part of the Elder Scrolls Online, because especially when you get into vet content, if you do one thing, if you miss a step in a boss fight or you miss a step in something, it can totally change how the trial goes. And I can't even imagine doing it on console with limited comms. I mean, even at times when we're in Discord here on PCNA, the trials that I've been there, it's it's challenging. So kudos to those people on console that are doing it, because that's like next level challenge. For comms.
Forget limited comms. We don't have like codes combat alerts.
Okay, fair enough. Yes.
We don't have anything.
I wasn't gonna bring up.
Yeah, we have
the add-on thing.
comms built into console, so we can group up no problem. But we don't have the things that say dodge roll now. You know,
This is true, or block, or tell you when you're actually blocking.
we don't have the land of add-ons like you all do. I say you all. I play on PC too. But I mean, I also am
don't you have add-ons on your PC character too?
Nope.
That's it. I don't believe that. I think she's got a couple add-ons.
I will share my screen with you after this and show you. I'm pure. Man. That's right. Thank you. I'm
pure vanilla ESO. So I'm the guy who can't even imagine playing ESO in its vanilla state. Like I've relied on my add-ons so much. So
that's right, Thea. Thea says once you add the add-ons, there's no going back.
That's so true, though. It is true. It's so true. So.
True.
If it was meant to be in the game, the devs would add it. I'm gonna choose to leave that statement alone. And yeah. Add-ons are great.
Don't hurt my other co-host, okay? That's my other co-host.
No,
Gwen. You leave Gwen alone.
That's too good. So those are our Loreseekers of the month. Why don't you tell us about what events are happening on PlayStation? So you've obviously mentioned the trials. What are some of the other things that are kind of going on around on your side?
We've had fishing event going on as well, but I think a lot of people have actually gotten the Master Angler achievement now, or at least we're working towards it. We're still doing that off and on. There's some other events we're looking at adding in on those nights. And that's pretty much it. We're pretty calm over there right now, but we do have fishing and trials, and then we have our what we call Treacherous Tuesday or Treacherous Someday, because it used to be on Tuesdays, but most of the time people can't group until later in the week. And that's where we just run through and do like a lore mode for all of the different dungeons and whatnot. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
What's going on over there?
How
about on PC?
PC, my goodness, we have so many different things. But also so many openings at the moment. So I'll probably start with one of the more renowned events that we have starting back up. This has been a Loreseekers staple since forever. And it is definitely was led by one of our wonderful leads who has stepped away for a little while. But that is our World Boss Wednesday. So basically, I have taken over World Boss Wednesday now. And every single week on Wednesdays, we are basically working our way through Tamriel. So I started us out in Auradon as our very first location to go and do our World Bosses. And we're going to do all the AD zones, then all the Ebon Heart Pack zones, and then all the Daggerfall Covenant zones. And then we'll move on to the DLCs, Craglorn, all those different things. And last week was awesome. There was a good, probably almost an entire group that was there, and we just ran it. And it was so much fun. After being basically not running for most of the summer, it was nice to kind of get back to routine and do that event. A few other events that we're running on PC. We've got we have a motif Matt. Do we still Matt? You're doing a motif madness still, right, Minwee? It's kind of like motif madness / like Tales of Tribute. Lady Fancy Feet's doing the motif madness. Pardon me. So yeah, we got motif madness. What day is that on? I can't pull up the schedule because on Thursdays,
I believe.
Thank you.
And Matt does the Mages Guild dailies.
Mages Guild dailies now on Tuesdays, correct? I believe it's
Yep.
Perfect. And then Mondays, we have the lovely Thea, who has been doing dungeons pretty much every single week for the last couple months, if I recall. So how many dungeons are you running right now, Thea? I know you're in chat hanging out, so. I think last time I saw it was like 1 to 3 kind of dungeons a night. They're getting their motifs and their gear runs and everything. They're doing a lot of the runs that are very where the gear is kind of very valuable at the moment, and people are trying to get those pieces. So do random normals. We can get 4 and 6. There you go. Lots of gear that can be grabbed in those events. And then we have Fridays. Fridays has been reserved for fishing. And then we've got Tipsy Trials, which is following through that. And then Saturdays and Sundays. Sundays, we have our Cyrodiil event with our new lead, K6. And then we've also got our Cyrodiil runs. And then we've got a Learn a Trial with Noma, who is currently dealing with computer problems at the moment. So hopefully he'll have his computer back up and running in the next week here. I helped them pick out their parts and whatnot. So let me tell you about the fish. The fish in the sea. And then Saturdays, there was an event. I can't for the life of me remember what it is, but there's pretty much every day of the week right now we're running events at varying time slots. And EU's got some stuff that they're doing as well. I'm not familiar with what EU is doing. I'm not sure what Xbox is doing. I will report back next week with an EU schedule.
This week?
Next month. Next month. Wait, what?
Like,
we're doing this weekly?
I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm on vacation. So
Fair enough.
Good luck.
Yeah. So there is no Saturday event at the moment. Yeah, okay. So that's that. Yeah. Perfect. Lots of things happening, but lots of openings. Peanut's committed to this. Yeah. Lots of openings and things to do. So it sounds like there's lots of openings on your side of the wall as well with PlayStation. So just exciting. Just got to find a few people that'll put in the hour or two to run the events.
Yeah.
And then pull the people.
It's true.
So, yeah.
And you know what we're also excited for, because we've talked about it a lot, is we're looking at doing some more cross-platform stuff for the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be pretty exciting. We had a really successful cross-platform dragon hunt. Gosh, was that last year?
That was so much fun.
Was that last year already?
Was it last year or the year before?
Oh my gosh, no way. Yeah, I don't know, but we had a really great successful couple hours with the whole guild, like all platforms, and we coordinated with EU too. They had to do it kind of before us, but within a certain amount of time, like a set amount of time.
Yeah.
To see who could kill the most dragons in, a set amount of time, and it was really cool. Yeah, that's true. Thea said we hunted all those dragons, and the next day dragon killing was the weekly endeavor. Oh, I forgot about that.
It's like they knew.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
PCNA got like 100, but I think PlayStation got pretty close, if I recall. Like they got
we
close.
we only had like 12 people running. So I think I remember, because was it 2 hours or 1 hour?
I think it was 2 hours.
I think in 2 hours we did like 35 or something, but we only had 12 people. Actually, I think we started with 12 and ended with 8. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. In comparison to how many groups PC had, we were a lot less, but we still were small but mighty.
So it sounds like we just need to have another one of those events, and then PlayStation can just try to show up even more and get to that 100.
That'd be awesome.
I think we should try to make that happen.
We should definitely do it.
We'll poke all the leaders and try to see if we can get something like that going. That'd be so much fun to do again. I really enjoyed that. It was just great fun.
I bet we can come up with something for the holidays too. Lindsay, who can kill the most NPCs in a Lindsay, that would be unfair because we know that you would win. So.
Oh, absolutely would.
Yeah.
So. Hey, look. Speaking of PlayStation.
Oh, there's my co-GM. Never.
Never.
But yeah, so that's a little bit kind of about guild events, different things. We'll get with everybody and start to look at it and kind of see what stuff we can come up with.
Definitely.
You know what I spent a lot of time coming up with?
Tell me. I think I know.
You think you know?
I think I know what you came up with. I'll spend a lot of time coming up with.
No, you don't know what it is because you didn't listen to it.
Oh, that.
I mean,
Oh.
unless you have something else to do first.
Well, I thought it was a new soup recipe.
Oh, no.
Oh.
No soup
Okay.
recipe. No time for cooking. Too much lore.
Too much lore. I think, is it time for a lore lesson?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have
I think
anything? Do I just need to push a button, or do you have anything you want to introduce it with?
Nope. I think you should
No?
just push play. And
Okay.
please, everyone, forgive me because that was my first time using Audacity yesterday.
I think it's going to be just fine. So apparently I just push a button and it should start playing. I think I have to push this button, stop the little background chatter, and I'm going to stop talking now. Enjoy.
Loreseekers Lesson 1 Tavern in High Isle. The air was still thick with dust as I laid my bow down on the counter of the once glorious Unknown Travelers Tavern. It had been too long since I had set foot in this place. I took a deep breath. You could still smell the barrels of mead and a faint hint of herbs. Half-burned candles sat on the counter next to the water-stained rings, a glimpse of just how many pints had once sat on the bar. I closed my eyes and the memories flooded back. Clinking tankards, strumming instruments, and low murmurs of friends sharing stories of victory and glory. Yeah, this tavern had so many stories. And maybe even a few ghosts. Glancing over to the corner where Brooks used to sit, my lips curled into a slight smile, and I shook my head with a laugh. Moving behind the bar, I glanced around for anything that might be helpful in getting this place up and running again. I could hear Peanut outside muttering something about having to get a new lock for the door as he kicked the bottom of it. But my eyes were instantly drawn down to a shelf. Tucked off in a corner, amongst some glasses, sat a wooden box. On top, the clear outline of a red eye. The reliquary, I whispered to myself. Placing the box on the counter, I opened it. Peanut? You might want to come in here. His eyes grew. Is that what I think it is? Yeah, and there's a letter.
I know it's spotless, but I'll wipe down the bar one more time. I glance over and see my loyal friend doing, well, much of the same. Cleaning and re-cleaning the goblets and mugs. Blank stare, deep in thought. This place, the memories, the laughter that used to fill this hall, the planning for our next adventure, bards retelling the tales of our successes and failures over a mug of Tamriel's finest. The glory days. But the tavern has been empty for so long now. It's difficult to tell where we stopped and where we began. There will never be doubt in our minds of where it all started for us, where the friendships were forged in this realm and others beyond, where we learned to trust in one another, where we brought others together in a lifelong bond. Yeah, there's no doubt. We're gonna miss this place.
The silence in this tavern is deafening. Or perhaps it's the thoughts rolling through my head. I know the very same thoughts plague my dear friend too. The places we've been, the friends we've gained and lost, and where we're headed. One more oblivion gate, we said. But this one will be different, and I think we both know it. There's something different about this gate, and we don't know what lies on the other side, but we need to try. We always have. We don't know where our next adventures will take us, or what it means for our return. But we are explorers, risk takers. It's what we do, so we must go. We don't know who will find this letter. We pray to the Nine it will be among the closest in our circle here in Tamriel. Trusted friends to take up the mantle of what we've left behind. This tavern deserves the crowd that once dwelled here. These taps need to keep flowing. Stories need to continue being told. This place deserves to be alive once more. So to whomever is reading this, know that we loved our time here. It was a bright place in our lives. But the time has come for us to traverse this mysterious gate to the unknown. The tavern is spotless, a clean slate. Make it your own. Make it legendary. Signed with love and respect, the Unknown Travelers.
We stood in silence for a moment. The air was still and quiet, and I could see dust floating through sunbeams coming in the window. It was like I could feel their words and hear their voices, almost as if they had been imbued into the papers in my hands. I took a deep breath. Well, I guess we better go and find some damn good ale for this place. I hear the inn in Gunfallen has some alabaster honeymead and mermaid whiskey, and if I leave now, I should be able to make it back with decent speed. He nodded in agreement, and with that, out the door I went, dagger sheathed and bow in hand. The passage by ship seemed quick and relatively peaceful. My mind milled over the letters again and again as I stared off towards the horizon. Deep blue, crystal clear water soon gave way to a shallower green as we docked in the shadow of the remains of the great statue of Baron Admiral Bendu Olo. The statue itself had once been absolutely colossal. It had been an amazing depiction of the legendary commander of the All Flags Navy, charting a course for what lies beyond the bay. Incredibly impressive from afar, it used to bring travelers from all across Tamriel to gaze upon it. Now it was but a crumbled version of its former glory. I stepped off the boat and made my way towards the large wooden gate, the faint smell of sunflowers filling the air. Beyond the gate, the sights and sounds of cobbled streets were much louder. I ran forward down a small alley, which eventually gave way to a small hub. The sounds of merchants discussing their wares and the sound of hammer on steel combined to make a pleasant hum of activity in my ears. I stood admiring the light browns, whites, and patches of green moss that adored the large blocks that made up many of the buildings and the walls in the city. The architecture here seemed more airy than you might find in High Rock, though not as fanciful as the buildings that you might find in Somerset. The half-timbers stood out against the white stucco and rock walls, and the brown tile roofs glimmered in the sunbeams that cut through the clouds. My map, stained from salty sea air and adventures across Tamriel, had seen better days. Thankfully, though, it was still useful enough to show me the way to the Ancient Anchor Inn. The inn itself sat just off the square. On the journey over, I had heard one of my fellow adventurers mentioning that the inn's owner just happened to be the shark that hangs above the bar. A strange tale indeed. Apparently, the shark had bested the previous owner, Captain Marciana Stormspray, in a fair fight. The residents of Gonfalon Bay had honored the late captain's wishes that the bar be retained by whomever won the fight, and so it was. Running uphill past the way shrine, I opened the large door to the inn. The cozy, dark atmosphere smelled of whiskey and wood fire, and the famed owner of the inn hung above the head of a Dunmer brewer who was behind the bar. "Excuse me, sir." I had no idea if this dark elf had known the tavern's previous owners. He looked at me with friendly eyes. "I grew up in the shadow of Red Mountain, active vents, angry tremors, a whiff of ash in the air. Starting to feel like home around here. My name's Vavrin. What can I get you?" "I've come from the Unknown Travelers Tavern, and I was hoping you might have some mermaid whiskey or alabaster honeymead on hand you might be willing to part with for a fair price. You see, we've just reopened, and I was hoping to have something unique for our patrons who are returning." He reached over to a small book and opened it. "Well, what do you know? Looks like we've managed to get ingredients in on a ship right before the Colossus fell. Should be able to sell you some and crate it for your journey. Wait, did you say Unknown Travelers Tavern?" I did. He shifted his eyes and leaned towards me. "Are you the new brewer or owner?" I guess. Well, one of them, sort of. It's more of a partnership. My friend and I have taken on getting the place up and running again." He gestured over to a cozy-looking nook with a chair and a desk. "You just wait over there. I'll have your mead prepared for travel in no time. Feel free to have a read. I've got the Sisters' history volumes, Sorrows of the Wind, and Secrets of Amenos if you're interested. Within minutes, I was completely lost in tales of druids, knights, and exchanges of power, and I took out a small book filled with bound parchment and began making notes as I read. As it turns out, these islands have seen quite the stormy history. The Sisters themselves are a group of 4 large islands found in the Abetian Sea. They sit far to the southwest of Hammerfell, but northwest of the Somerset Isles. The largest and most populated island is known as High Isle. It's home to the largest city in the region, Gonfalon Bay, and also houses the All Flags Harbor. According to legends like Sorrow of the Wind, it's said that the islands were first home to some form of, whether that be man or mer, ancient spirits. When the mortal races began to settle on the archipelago, the spirits hid but remained. The tumultuous history of the archipelago reaches back at least as far as the First Era, and Druidic writings are some of the earliest accounts of the islands. The first settlers were Druids from Galen around 1E 330, and it's not fully clear whether these Ifre-worshipping Bretons were pushed out of High Rock due to seeking self-governance away from the influence of House Dereni, or if they left of their own accord to avoid religious persecution from the Alessian order. But what is known is that they were a target for virtually every faction in Tamriel at the time. Whether leaving of their own accord or not, legends state that the Druids made the journey to the Sisters by following a mysterious song heard on the wind. Others say they followed an Elder Scroll, and that it led them to their newfound home of Ephelon. Either way, it seems quite the mystery. Though Ephelon is but one of the islands, it appears that the Druids of Galen settled across the whole of the archipelago. It's said that the first Dreyfa harnessed the power of the Earthbones to take the islands from a scarred landscape to a verdant paradise. Whatever magic it was that balanced nature on all the islands, it never seemed to fully take effect on Amenos. It stayed hostile and unforgiving. After this, what few accounts there are seem to get a bit varied and blurry, and a fire during the Sinistral invasion in 1E 660 led to many of the early records being lost. Some claim those early records indicate that the golden age of Druiddom occurred, and that with many expanding their reach outside of the archipelago. Though at times prosperous, this golden age did have its faults. This expansion across the archipelago led to the fracturing of these Druids into 3 circles, or cultural sects: the Stone Lore, the Eldertide, and the Firesong circles. It's likely that the interactions with other races during this time lent or influenced each group's belief system. The differences in their beliefs nearly drove them into conflict, but greater threat of invasion from the elves prevailed. Far west of the Sisters, the struggle for Yokuda was nearing its end. Diplomatic purges and controversial decrees led to a massive emigration of many nobles and their vassals. Their push into the islands east of Yokuda pressured many of the Sinistral elves, pirates, and exiles to travel away from the islands, which they had been inhabiting, essentially as refugees. Eventually, a group of Sinistral elves moved toward the Sisters with the intention of conquering the archipelago around 1E 660. They constructed a fortress on Amenos to serve as their base as they assaulted the other islands and sieged Ephelon. Many lives were lost on both sides, but eventually, the islands themselves intervened. The eruption of Mount Firesong, the Druid's sacred volcano on Ephelon, ended the conflict. In the end, the left-handed elves kept a hold of the archipelago, and the Druids that remained essentially went into hiding. The elves continued to inhabit the islands until the Regatta arrived and wiped them out on their way to Hammerfell, and the Druid remains, though, in smaller groups, but far wiser. Around 1500 years after the eruption of Mount Firesong, the Thracian plague was unleashed upon Tamriel. The plague swept across the continent, leaving thousands of corpses in its wake. Healers searched for a cure, but to no avail. However, their work did confirm something, that the horrendous plague had come from Thrace. In 1E 2241, the Colovian king of Anvil, Bendu Olo, loudly proclaimed his intent to create a fleet to sail against Thrash, and punished them for their terrible plague. With the Emperor's blessing, he became Baron Admiral of the Imperial Fleet and was soon joined by the other nations of Tamriel. This armada became known as the All Flags Navy, and within 2 years the Navy dropped anchor in the Sisters. The largest shipyards centered near Gunfalon Bay. By 1E 2249, the Navy stood ready with its first group of ships, intent on destroying Thrace. After claiming several victories at sea, the time had come to launch a final assault on Thrace. Over half of the fleet was lost to a swirling gyre. Unfortunately, first-hand accounts of this battle seem incredibly rare, and it's still not known how the All Flags Navy managed to sink an entire landmass into the sea. All we know is that everyone who seemed to be present was shaken greatly by whatever had happened. Despite so much loss, the Baron Admiral and some of the captains returned to the archipelago and signed the Concordat of Fraternity on the All-Flag Islet. This document bound each captain and each race to the cause of peace and cooperation. All those present agreed to allow the sisters to stand as a monument to Tamriel's victory. Soon after, though, Tamriel began squabbling once again. Even if it was only for a short while, for one moment, the people of Tamriel stood united. I sat my quill down on the desk and stretched my fingers. I could have stayed there reading and writing for days in that cozy nook. I'd only made it partially through the sisters' histories when I heard Vavrin approaching. He held out 2 shots of whiskey and handed me one. Here, our finest mix before you go. Wait, did you say mixed? My eyes narrowed. We both exchanged nods and took a drink, and it burned my throat, but still seemed oddly familiar to me. I used to know someone who had a habit of mixing whiskeys. Seemed odd to me, till I tried it, he replied. I think he could see the question I wanted to ask in my eyes. He gestured towards the crates that another dark elf was finishing loading. Well, these are on me. I knew the old owners. I hope they're well. He reached down and pulled out an amulet from his pocket, the red reliquary eye. He gave me a nod. A smile crossed my lips. They are, I hope. They've had lots of adventures. Seems like I'm always meeting people they've made an impression on.
Wow. Wow.
Holy crap. Okay, I'm just gonna sit for a minute.
Sit and just absorb it in for a moment.
Oh. Wow. Yeah,
that was very well done. I like that you ran it as a story, and the whole thing was just you kind of in your head the whole time, for a very large portion of it, like sitting in the tavern and whatnot. I thought that was amazing. And whoop, that's a little bit too loud.
It felt right. Like,
yeah,
you know, I didn't know what I was gonna do when I first started, because I was like, well, what do you want to do lore on? And you said, well, maybe High Isle, like, you know, maybe we can talk about that stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay, there's a lot. There's 7 volumes of Sisters history. I mean, I only, literally with what I did in that lesson, that was only through volume 3. So
wow.
there's still 4 more. You know, so like, it was just picking and choosing, and a lot of time on UESP and Imperial Library. And, you know, it was funny because I didn't know how I was going to end it at all. And I had actually already recorded the first half of the audio before I figured out what the ending was. I was sitting at work and I was just kind of like, there's no way I can finish this. Like, there is so much left. I will never make it through all 7 volumes. And I've already done, oh gosh, I've already forgotten the other one I messed. Sorrows of whatever it was. Which is a very interesting read, by the way. I'll try and post the link for that maybe in the Discord, and some of the lore stuff, because it's an interesting read. I learned a lot about the druids that I did not know. And then if you go and play the new dungeons that just dropped, the fire song, yeah, it all kind of went and just clicked together for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was a really neat moment. And then I'm like, okay, well, how can I finish this? Like, I want the guy behind the bar to know them. I want him to be a reliquary member somehow. And I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I think he should offer me a drink before I go. And I'm like, what would be funny? Like, what's something the guys mentioned before? And I'm like, everybody always used to joke around about how Jibbs would mix whiskeys.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I think that's kind of perfect. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to just see what happens. And I read it and I read it again and I made some adjustments. And then I kind of went like, yeah, that's it. That's perfect. That's it. Um, so yeah, I'm like, whew, it's over. It was really weird. I sent it to Cash and Jibbs and kind of like was like, hey, I'm terribly nervous, I I don't want to be wrong. Like so I feel a huge like relief all of a sudden, but it's also like a high of
Right?
like, wow, okay, it sounded way better than I thought it sounded because I edited that in terrible earbuds at work. So,
No,
I'm just
you absolutely crushed it.
um yeah. So,
No, that was very well done. I mean, you threw the story together. You brought in the previous, the reliquary and all the different, all the different kind of parts to what the Loreseekers Guild has always been. You kind of really brought it in there and kind of reference other people, and whatnot. So I think absolutely fantastic job. Like I'm now like super excited to try and like dive myself in too. And like for those of you guys that know me, like lore is something I enjoy, but I have some severe ADHD, so I get sidetracked quite a bit with all the different fun things to do, like harvesting flowers and all that kind of stuff. So like sometimes it takes me forever to get through a story or whatever. So, but you did a great job of tying all together, and now I'm like inspired to go and like actually continue finishing off the High Isle story. So I guess for the rest of the week, I'm gonna have to do it now.
hey, fun fact, do you want to know something? I can share my dirty secret. I haven't played the
Okay.
quest line.
What? Wow. So you got all that, and you haven't even played the story.
I have played up through the Colossus.
Okay,
And
so
I
you
don't
and
want
I
to
are probably
say
about the same spot.
I don't want to say anything more.
Yeah.
Until, people catch up and whatnot. But that is as far as I played, and that was at the urging of someone else, Never, who's in chat. I sent him a little blurb at the beginning, and he said, well, you obviously haven't played the quest line, have you? Because I had it different. Like, the statue thing was written differently. And I was like, oh no. I said, does something happen? He's like, just play the first, like, 3 quests. And I was like, okay. So I did, and yeah, so I had to adjust all of that, but
That's
yeah,
too
so
good.
that's it. That's my thing.
No spoilers.
Yeah, no spoilers. Really quick, Imagine
Mm.
Fragrance is in chat. Um, we are across all platforms. We have an NA PC guild as well. They are asking about the game because of
Mm.
having hand tremors and being able to bar swap being a challenge. Um, I would suggest looking up some new. There are a couple builds. There's I think a 1-bar Sork build that's really good that uses Oaken Soul. There are tons of builds online, but we also have some really, really awesome theory crafters in Loreseekers. So if you are interested and you can, I know in our outro we're going to talk about how to join, and I would highly suggest coming and joining us to talk to some people about those 1-bar builds. My other question for you
Definitely.
is, do you play with a controller? Um, because controller can change the game for you as well. Potentially if you have trouble with a mouse and keyboard. There are ways to use controller on PC. That's what I actually do. You can get something called DS4 Windows if you use a PlayStation controller, or most Xbox controllers if you have a Windows machine will be like automatically recognized. So
Mhm. Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, I
And
would say, if I just on the note of, because one thing that stuck out to me in that there was they had mentioned that they feel like a little bit of a burden when they join a group, and I think here's my thing about that statement in and of itself is that no group in a community should ever make you feel like a burden because of your playstyle. You're here to have fun. You're here to enjoy the game. And if you're in a community of people that really don't look at it from that perspective, and it's all about perfection and being the best player that you possibly can be, then you know that community is maybe not the right place for you. But I can say for the lore seekers, doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I can tell you too that we have had friends in the guild that we've had blind lore seekers before.
Really?
We have had lore
Oh.
seekers with all sorts of different abilities or differently abled. So please, like, we would love to help you. We would love to help you. Um, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I
I would say, yeah, join.
yeah, please do. And I understand that. Yeah, controller is easier for a lot of melee, but on ranged builds, it can be trickier than a mouse. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, it definitely can, especially depending on your sensitivity as well of your controller and stuff. So those can all be things to look into. Um, depending on what role you're wanting to do as well. So thank you for asking. We always
Absolutely.
want to help people. So
We have a guy who thinks he's Batman. Oh man, it's too good. So yeah, no, I look forward to seeing, hopefully seeing your name pop through the list there. We'll get you in here and get you connected with some people that can help kind of really find out a build that works if you haven't already found one. But you know what? No one here expects perfection when playing ESO. We're all here to have a good time and enjoy it. And if it takes 50,000 tries to get through a trial or a dungeon, it takes 50,000 tries to get through a trial or a dungeon. It's not a big deal. You'll learn as you play, right? So we all learn as we play. So, but thank you for asking the question. That's one thing I love about the community is like almost immediately when that question was posed, there was a bunch of people in chat that just jumped out and started commenting on that and whatnot. So this community is very welcoming.
Imagine here is also, this is just a list from Alcast. There are other content creators out there as well. Zynode is another great content creator. Skinny Cheeks has some really great
builds.
1 bar builds, but that is a category right there of different classes that are all 1 bar builds for you. Let me see if I can find you really quick as well before we go and do our outro and stuff.
I'm looking for something, but I don't know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, if you search, it looks like Zynode's ones are all archived. Sorry for anybody that's just kind of like listening and not watching what we're doing and stuff right now.
I forgot to add the guild link into our thing.
It's okay. I just added loreseekers.club into the chat as well as loreseekerseso.org just in case.
Loreseekers.club. Awesome. Hopefully this actually posts properly. So I only just got your character level 50 on PC. Hey, that's like probably the biggest hurdle is getting yourself to level 50, and then after that, the next hurdle is CP 160, which comes pretty quick. So, and then once you're there, then it's just fine tuning gear. So that's once you reach 50, you're on the nice flat highway now. So of endless CP gaining. So
yeah, so here's a couple different links for you. We're happy to help, and we'd love to have you in our Discord. So join on up. For anybody that was asking too, really quick before we go, I know some people are asking about our shirts that we are wearing. They are on the old Lore Seekers podcast page. But to get to the ESO stuff, you have to go to the actual podcast because there were a couple of different Lore Seeker shows. And you can find the Elder Scrolls one. And then if you go through the Elder Scrolls link, there'll be a spot that says merch. I did link it in the chat earlier, but
nice.
Just in case, you can go through the merch there if you're interested in getting any of those. So.
Absolutely. Is it that time?
I think it's that time. I don't want to say goodbye, okay. But we've been live for a while, and I'm going to be honest. I go on vacation tomorrow, and I have to get up in 3 hours.
We need to get we need to get Gone
Bacon-
Crazy back soon to bed.
Bacon needs rest because Gwen's gonna push me in a river tomorrow. So I'm going to meet one of our
That's too
other
good.
lore seekers right when I get off the plane. We're gonna have breakfast.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm excited for you.
Me too.
Well, thank you everybody for being here. You have made the you know what? We're just gonna call it a launch. We're gonna make you have made the launch for Loreseeker Cast, and this so enjoyable. I could not have expected an even more welcoming and friendly first show. So you guys have been absolutely fantastic. We have some social media pages to show to send you, and here they are. That should post. There they are. Perfect. There's a Twitter account for Loreseekers ESO and the loreseekers.club website. If you're interested in joining the guild, head on over to loreseekers.club and follow the links. Once you get through our wonderful, can I say that word on the douchebag filter?
What?
Is that what we call it?
Yeah. What'd you say?
I can say that word. I said douchebag filter. I said, can I say that word? Is that
Oh,
okay?
oh,
Yeah,
once
douchebag.
they get through the douchebag filter.
Yeah, you
oh,
got to
the
get through the
control-
douchebag filter.
The control filter, the big old
The control
meanie
filter, the filter of all the craziness and whatnot. So once you get through that, it's basically a simple thing. Answer some questions, be honest, be straightforward, and we can get you into the guild. As Katie had said, we are across pretty much every platform and every mega server. So no matter where you come from, whether it be Stadia, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, there is a branch of the Loreseekers there for you. Gone Crazy, where can we find you?
And you can find me in Discord as Gone Crazy Back Soon. Or you can find me on Twitch at Gone Crazy Back SN. Though a lot of the times there I'm just hosting either Snug Podcast, or when we do this show, I'll probably actually host it there as well every once in a while. Like, you know, through the host feature. Or wait, are they getting rid of that? I don't know. Anyway, but you can find me there. You can also find me, the one that is different is at Katie Stunt Show, KatieStuntShow on Twitter, but it also does have Gone Crazy Back Soon, so you'll know it's me up there.
Fantastic.
I think that's about it. I don't have the TikTok or the other stuff, so.
You can find myself on Twitter at Toasted Peanut. Peanut is spelt with a 3. You can also find me streaming on Twitch through my own channel, although I have a feeling there might be a few streams happening here on this channel as well. But if you can find me on Twitch, it is the same handle at Toasted Peanut. And you can find me in the Loreseekers Discord. Just type Fearless Leader in there, at Fearless Leader, and you'll probably find my name. No, if you type Loreseeker Peanut, or look at the very top of the page on the right-hand side with all the people that are in there, you'll find both of us sitting at the very top there. We are the co-GMs of the Loreseekers Guild. So, again, thank you very much. You have what? Oh.
I was gonna say also, I forgot, because if you're on console and you're on PlayStation, you can also feel free to friend me there if you need any help or have any questions on PlayStation as well.
Definitely.
And that's Gone Crazy Back SN because of character limit.
Yeah. So, perfect. I think that's it. I think we covered everything. Fantastic job with the lore lesson, Katie. You did an absolutely great job for your first one. Well done.
Thank
I
you.
look forward to part 2. I look forward to it. It's exciting. You'll know when we go live next. We will give you guys some ample warning on the Twitter page, and we will also now officially be advertising as the two of us in the Discord. So you'll have more active, regular things. We tried to keep it very quiet. You guys all knew it was us. You really did. So
There was no surprise.
But those of you guys that all followed the channel, thank you very much for the follows. You guys have been absolutely fantastic, and we cannot wait to be back again. And follow the Twitter, follow the Discord. You'll know when. Have a good night, everybody.
Dilly?
Peace.
Dilly.
Dilly freaking dilly.